If you ask what humanity will look like in 100, 1,000, or 10,000 years, the honest answer is not a prophecy. There is no single line from the present to one inevitable destination. Long-range thinking, whether in strategic foresight work from bodies like the OECD or in state forecasting tools, is not about predicting one future with confidence. It is about mapping plausible futures, testing assumptions, and asking which forces matter most while there is still time to influence them. That matters because the very long run begins with very short-run decisions. The systems already woven into daily life, energy grids, data networks, public administration, supply chains, hospitals, schools, laws, and military support systems are the starting point. Humanity in 10,000 years is not born in some distant age of miracles. It begins with infrastructure, governance, and rule setting now. Several drivers stand out. AI capability is one. Energy price and availability is another. Biotechnology, critical resources and minerals, climate and ecosystems, governance capacity and inequality all interact with them. None works alone. They create bottlenecks, feedback loops, and trade-offs. Of those, AI may be the most cross-cutting right now. It is not just consumer software or novelty chat tools. It is increasingly part of administration, education, science, logistics, military support, and decision-making. That raises the stakes because a technology that becomes infrastructure shapes many other technologies at once. If it improves research, planning, diagnostics, and coordination, it could accelerate progress across society. If it centralizes power, automates bad decisions, or becomes a tool of control, the damage also scales widely. But even digital futures run on physical systems. The material constraints are real. The International Energy Agency expects strong electricity demand growth, and data centers used about 415 terawatt-hours in 2024, roughly 1.5% of global electricity consumption. That is a reminder that information technologies are not weightless. Compute depends on power, cooling, land, semiconductors, minerals, and transmission systems. Big promises can hit hard limits in grids, supply chains, and cost. Biotechnology is another hinge. It may improve diagnosis, treatment, and healthy lifespan. Precision medicine and better biological tools could reduce suffering on an enormous scale. But this is not a settled field ethically or politically. The World Health Organization treats genome editing and biosecurity as unresolved areas where governance is still unfinished. The same growing power to modify and design biological systems can heal, but it can also produce new dangers, accidental or deliberate. Climate risk adds another layer, and here the overall direction is clear. The IPCC's message is not that every detail is known, but that without emissions cuts and adaptation, risks, damage, and cascading impacts rise. Infrastructure, migration, agriculture, health, finance, and conflict are all affected. Climate is not one issue among many. It is a pressure multiplier that changes the operating conditions for everything else. Governance, then, becomes crucial. UNESCO adopted an AI ethics recommendation in 2021. The EU AI Act bans some practices and regulates others. Yet neither action removes all algorithmic surveillance or resolves all questions about accountability, power, and enforcement. Governance is moving, but it is incomplete. Rules exist, but so do gaps. And distribution may be the most underestimated variable of all. Even useful technologies can amplify bad outcomes if access and benefits concentrate. Inequality can widen across people, firms, regions, and countries. The question is not only what humanity can build, but who gets to use it, who profits from it, and who absorbs the risks. That is why change should not be imagined as smooth or steady. Technological history is often non-linear. It follows jumps, plateaus, and S-curves. Progress can look explosive for a while, then run into material shortages, safety concerns, regulation, social resistance, or plain physical limits. We should expect breakthroughs, but also friction. So what might the next 100 years bring? One best-case path is a world where safe, widely distributed AI becomes a trusted layer of support rather than a system of dependence. Personal agents could help people navigate law, medicine, education, and bureaucracy. Diagnostics could improve. Learning could become more tailored and more accessible. Small firms, poorer regions, and public institutions could gain capabilities that were once reserved for large, wealthy organizations. But that best case depends on choices, rights, audits, interoperability, competition policy, and public digital infrastructure. Without those, the same systems could harden into something like digital feudalism, where a few platforms mediate reality for everyone else. A second best-case path is abundant clean energy, combined with better grids, storage, and flexibility. Falling clean energy prices could lower costs across entire economies, but only if deployment keeps pace and supporting systems scale with it. There is no magic shortcut here. Optimistic claims often race ahead of evidence. On fusion especially, sober institutional voices matter. The International Atomic Energy Agency does not present a reliable timeline for fusion becoming globally dominant. There are large hurdles and no serious basis for treating it as an assured near-term rescue. The plausible positive story is not miracle energy tomorrow, but a gradual build-out of cleaner, cheaper systems with smarter networks and more circular material use. A third path is healthier longevity. Better prevention, more precise treatment, and improved monitoring could extend healthy life, not just prolong frailty. Yet this is not the same as immortality. And claims of a guaranteed cure for aging do not have solid primary source support. Progress is plausible. Certainty is not. A fourth path is ecological regeneration aided by monitoring, restoration tools, and adaptation. Better sensing, better land and water management, and stronger institutions could help ecosystems recover in some regions. A fifth is cooperative and durable lunar or Martian outposts. Not vast space empires, but early off-Earth footholds that deepen science and technical capacity. Now consider the darker 100-year possibilities. AI could become the backbone of authoritarian surveillance, continuously tracking movement, speech, association, and risk scores. Highly autonomous systems could be deployed before they are reliable or aligned with human goals. Synthetic pandemics or bioweapons could emerge from biotechnology misuse. Climate and resource stress could cascade into migration crises, state fragility, and conflict. And unequal access to AI, education, medicine, and even neurotechnology could harden society into a more rigid class order. Notice that none of these require fantasy. They are extensions of known pressures. At the same time, some speculative fears should be treated carefully. No credible official source confirms a date for AGI or superintelligence. Those possibilities may be debated, but they should not be narrated as scheduled events. Stretch forward 1,000 years, and uncertainty grows enormously. Civilizations can rise, fracture, merge, and transform beyond recognition. Still, some patterns remain plausible. If humanity navigates energy, climate, governance, and inequality reasonably well, a millennium could see a species far healthier, more educated, and more technologically capable than today. Machine intelligence may be deeply embedded in institutions and personal life. Clean energy systems may be mature and widely available. Medicine may prevent many diseases that now define old age. Material use may be far more circular. Some ecological damage may have been reversed, though likely not all. Off-Earth settlements may exist, perhaps still fragile, but real. Yet 1,000 years could also preserve old failures in upgraded form. Surveillance could become normalized. Political systems could use advanced prediction and automated enforcement to suppress dissent with extraordinary efficiency. Genetic and cognitive advantages could be purchased unevenly, creating inherited technological castes. Climate shocks may recur even in societies with stronger adaptation, especially if early action falls short. Rivalry between major powers might remain a constant, merely shifting theaters from territory to data, resources, and orbital infrastructure. And at 10,000 years, humility is essential. Languages, institutions, even biological baselines could be transformed. The dominant fact is not any one invention, but path dependence. Early rules about AI, biotech, energy, and distribution can echo for millennia if they shape who holds power, what infrastructure gets built, and whether societies stay open enough to correct their own mistakes. The levers that seem especially consequential today are clear enough. The The distribution of AI compute matters because concentration can turn intelligence infrastructure into concentrated political and economic power. Falling clean energy prices matter, but so do grids, storage, and system flexibility. Early governance for AI and biotechnology matters because capabilities can outpace institutions. And inequality reduction matters because a technically advanced future can still be socially brutal. The most plausible future is therefore neither utopia nor collapse. It is a mixed one: more powerful AI, better medicine, cleaner energy, some ecological recovery, and early off-Earth outposts, alongside continuing inequality struggles, surveillance, rivalry, biosecurity risks, and recurring climate shocks. Humanity's long-term future is not predetermined. It depends on interacting technologies, hard constraints, and political choices being made right now. Subscribe, enable notifications, and tell us in the comments which future you want us to explore next.